Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm super excited because I'm going to be taking you into the Google New York office for the first time. So basically, let me give you a little bit of the lowdown before we get started, so you kind of have an idea like why I'm even in the office in the first place. So right now we're in like a voluntary return to office. Basically, the New York office finally, they're like, okay, people can come into the office as long as your table is ready. You just have to show proof of vaccination, and if you have your vaccination, then you can definitely go into the office, no problem. And I think in January, then they're going to be moving to something called like you're required to basically come into the office if that's what your personal team wants you to do. So that's going to be mandatory return to office, and they're going to be taking a hybrid approach, which means that from like Monday, Friday, you get to work remotely, and then 3 days out of the week, you have to come into the office. And that again depends on your team. So yeah, that's basically the lowdown for what's happening with returning to the office. I'm super excited to show you like how the Google office is set up. We're going to discover things together because I truly don't know anything about the office. So I'm already running pretty late. So let's go into the office. Hey everyone, it's noon, so I'm in the office right now, and what they usually do is like they serve breakfast, lunch here, so I'm gonna go grab some lunch and then I'll be back to give you guys more information about the office. But as you saw, it's quite a trek to get from like where I live to the Google office. I definitely kind of expected the path to be way more reliable than it is. Like it came like 13 minutes is insane. So I have to figure out like the best times to take the PATH train. I basically have to figure out my routine for, you know, coming into the office, because I feel like I can concentrate a little bit better here. I'm less distracted. So I think that I want to be coming in like twice a week maximum. Because it's quite a trek to get here. I think it took me like an hour to get here, but I might have taken a longer route because I did take a walk to the PATH train. Anyways, guys, so I'm gonna go grab some food and I will be right back. Hey guys, I'm back. So I didn't tell you guys this, but the craziest thing happened during my commute. Someone tried to shove a passenger onto the tracks. Jesus Christ, this is one of the reasons I don't like commuting in New York City, because you just be running into like the strangest people. Anyways, so basically I wanted to answer a question that I get asked a lot, and I feel like actually there's so many lessons I learned from this, and I feel like there's just like a lot of takeaways that you guys can learn from this. Before I get started on this, I do want to say that I'm super lucky to be working at this company. I also want to say I'm not a genius. If you feel like you want to work somewhere, you should just go for it. If you feel like there are any goals you want to have, you should just go for it. Don't let anyone tell you like you are too stupid or like you don't deserve to be somewhere. All that matters is you have to believe that you should be there. And if you believe you should be there, go for it. Take the attempt, apply, do whatever you want to do. Okay, so now let's get into it. How did I get into Google? This story actually starts all the way in 2019. So in 2019, I was at the company I worked at before working at this company. And I was having a fine experience. Like everything was good, was going pretty good, but I felt like I wasn't getting mentorship and the guidance that I needed, especially since I was pretty early in my career. I felt like, wow, there are a lot of things I need to learn and there are a lot of things I want to learn. And to be honest, this company just doesn't have the bandwidth to give me that type of learning and mentorship that I needed. So basically I was like, okay, the places that are going to give me this type of mentorship are probably going to be bigger tech companies. There was a specific tech company that I kind of romanticized a lot, which was Google. It was like the only company I had in my like 5-year plan. I'm like, I want to work at Google as a software engineer in 5 years. So January 2019, I got started on trying to reach that goal. So what I did was I spent like a month, 3 months, every single day doing LeetCode questions, connecting with alumni from the program I attended that helped me break into tech, and doing like mock interviews. Basically, I had no social life, no hobbies, nothing but LeetCode for like 3 months, which I highly regret, and I should not have done that. So yeah, I was working really hard. So after the 3 months of prepping, then I was like, okay, I feel like I'm getting the hang of this. I'm ready to start interviewing at companies. Around this time, a Google recruiter reached out to me and she was like, oh, Google is hiring engineers. If you're interested, I'd be happy to get you started on the process. I was like, yes, ma'am. But even if she hadn't slid into my DMs, one of my friends who I'm interviewing next week was working at Google, and I felt like I could get a referral from her because she's awesome and she would help me out if I needed help. So I was like, let's schedule this interview for 2 months in advance. After 3 months of prepping, I'm gonna do 2 more months of prepping, and I'm gonna be interviewing at all the companies that I'd want to interview at. At the end of those 2 months, I'd interviewed at like over 20 companies, gotten rejected from most of them, except for 2 companies that I got accepted to. So those 2 companies, after getting those acceptances, I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm ready. Let me do the Google interview round. But at this point, I'd been doing the interview process for like 5 months. I was tired. I was burned out. I had no hobbies. Didn't really see my friends because all I wanted to do was do interview prep. And I highly discourage you from doing that. But let me continue the story. Get into the Google phone screen interview, and I bombed it. It did actually pretty horrible. I didn't really understand what the interviewer was saying on the phone, and I just also didn't know the solution to the question. So all of those things made it so that I got rejected. And from that, I learned that it doesn't make sense to have a dream company in tech. A lot of the reasons people get into these companies is not only due to hard work, but there's a huge component of luck, especially when it comes to LeetCode questions. If you've already seen that LeetCode question, like I did for one of the companies, I saw every single question they asked me, I'd already seen on LeetCode. So obviously it was easy for me to pass it. I feel like with the coding interview questions, there's such a wide range of it. You might even have interviewers who don't like you during the process. That's why I highly discourage people from having a dream company. Instead, apply broadly. Focus on things like good work-life balance, good pay, and working on problems that you like, and then working with people that are cool and I like. Those are the only 4 things now I care about when I'm looking for new jobs. At that point, I'd gotten like about over 20 rejections or whatever, which is crazy because my haters like to say, if you're a Black woman in tech, all you need to do is spell HTML and you're guaranteed a job. Well, say that to all the rejections I've gotten, because if that was the case, I would have gotten all those companies, and I wish that was the case. Trust me, I truly wish that was the case. Anyways, with the 2 offers I had, I was like, I don't really feel compelled to work at any of these companies. I could see kind of red flags for both of those companies I got offers from. So I was like, you know what? Let me do this next year. I started my YouTube channel. I went on vacation. I tried to have a social life. I tried to make new friends. I was now all about like living my life. Then 2020 happens. January 2020, I'm like, okay, I'm now wiser. I'm better at interviewing, and I'm ready to leave this company again. So in 2020, I started the interview process again, put in a couple months to get back up to speed on LeetCode questions as well as system design questions, because that was something I struggled with my last interview round. But then by March 2020, the world had gotten really crazy. We were in a pandemic. I lost one of my parents. Everything was just going to shit. And I was like, yo, this is insane. I also had the responsibility of my YouTube channel because at that point it was really taking off. So there were so many different things happening, but I didn't want to let go of the interview process because I knew I needed to get out of my other company. Nothing wrong with them. They were good people, but I just felt like I don't want to have to do this another year. Let me just go through the process. And it's crazy also, during this time, a bunch of companies dropped me because they didn't have money and they were scared, because we were getting into a pandemic. I was at my last straw, like my last wit's end, because of all those different factors and all those different responsibilities that I had to do. I probably should have just paused the interview process and just quit my job, but I was too scared to do that. Like, I was afraid because with losing a parent, I had additional responsibilities I didn't even know about. So that's a different story. Basically, it was just insane period of time, but then I finally got a good company. It was a big tech company, good pay, good work-life balance. It had all the things that I was looking for as a sweet offer. Around this time too, there was a recruiter in my DMs who was a YouTube recruiter, and they were just looking for people. So I actually passed the phone round for the sweet interview process during that time. And then it's crazy because someone from DevRel saw my YouTube videos and felt like, wow, I'd be a really good fit for DevRel. So they were like, yo, you'd be a really good fit for DevRel. Why don't you stop the sweet interview process, go to the final round of the DevRel process, and let's see how you do there. So yeah, I did it. I was like a little scared because I'd spent so many years focused on becoming a SWE, learning as much as possible. And I felt like I was like throwing it away by doing DevRel. Everyone I talked to loved DevRel. They liked what they were doing. They were having fun. It was such a laid back atmosphere. And I felt like this is what I really needed at this time, where I felt like everything was just chaotic and stressful. I did the DevRel process, which was 4 coding interviews, kind of like you would do during a SWE interview process, plus the addition of a presentation round. So I did all of those things and I got the offer, and it was awesome. So I had to decide between those 2 companies. I went with Google because I felt like hit all those boxes about work-life balance, good people, good pay, and interesting problem. I liked doing my YouTube channel and I thought this could be actually really cool to do. So yeah, that's how I got into Google. I hope you learned a little bit from my story. I would say during the interview process, still have a life. Don't dedicate everything to getting into one specific company. Have like a wide range of things that you're looking for, and make it more about like how you want to live your life versus name brand. Yeah, so basically that's what I did. I got into Google through someone seeing my YouTube channel and thinking that I'd be a good fit for DevRel. But before then, all the Google interviews I'd done have been through recruiters sliding in my DMs on LinkedIn. So if you don't have LinkedIn, you should definitely have LinkedIn. And if I didn't get those DMs, I had a friend that worked at Google, so I was gonna get a referral, period. Period. I've been here for a year working remotely and I've really liked it a lot. So I'm gonna do some work and then I'll head back home.